Out of the millions of Napoli fans, I am the one who most strongly advocated for a rematch against Juventus. Out of the millions of Napoli fans, I am the one who most strongly advocated for a rematch against Juventus. I spent over 20 hours to make a video on that game which Napoli couldn't play due to COVID restrictions, and saying how unfair it was for Syria to award the game to Juventus. So I was very disappointed today that Napoli lost to Juventus. Number one, that's the reason that I was a very strong advocate for Napoli. I was advocating for Napoli to get a rematch against Juventus. Number two, Juventus and Napoli, they played equal number of games and they were level on points. So this was a tiebreaker and Napoli needed to win this game.
Fíjate, lo persigue y después lo engancha.
¡Ataca Lautaro!
This Juventus is not a strong team. They were knocked out by Porto, a Porto team which had 10 players. The Porto player received 2 yellow cards in the space of 1 minute. It was a ridiculous situation. He got himself sent out. Perhaps it was unfair, perhaps it was what he deserved, but it was ridiculous for him to do whatever he did to get that red card. And a 10-player Porto was able to knock out Juventus from the Champions League. This Juventus is not a strong team. So, and even today, they didn't start the game well. Cristiano Ronaldo, their most famous player, missed a sitter in the initial minutes of the game against Napoli. This is a game where Napoli should have really won. There were a couple of mistakes from the referee. First, Juventus appealed for a penalty, but I guess Chiesa was in a very narrow angle and he had already kicked the ball when the Napoli player made contact with Chiesa. Furthermore, Chiesa looked like he was off the pitch. So it really would have looked shady had Juventus got a penalty. But remember, this is Juventus. They got a penalty even in a more clear situation where it shouldn't have been a penalty in Coppa Italia. In an incident, in an off-the-ball incident, they got a penalty against Inter Milan and they were able to equalize with that penalty and eventually knock out Inter out of the Coppa Italia. So remember, this is Juventus. They always get favoritism from the referee. And then later, Napoli had an incident in the first half, and in the second half, Napoli again had an incident. This time it looked like a more clear situation for a penalty. It should have been a penalty, I believe, but the referee didn't give that penalty. And what can I say? Juventus was able to capitalize the situation and get the score 2-0. But fortunately, Napoli managed to get one goal, making it 2-1. So now, should Napoli and Juventus end the season with equal points, the aggregate is going to be 2-2. And I don't really know what happens in this situation. Are we going to go for away goals? If we are going for away goals, Napoli has got the advantage. Insigne tonight scored that all important away goal. But I don't think it works like that. I think if the aggregate score is same, then they go for to check which team scored the most number of goals, or which team has got the